Hi, hello. Welcome to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. It is Friday again. I still can never believe how quickly the weeks pass by, but it's lovely to be here, and I'm wishing you a very warm welcome. If you're joining live as people start to come on, it's great, and please feel free to comment and ask questions. And also, if you're watching the replay, that's wonderful too. I love the fact that you can just decide when you want to come on and have a tune in to this week, which is all about beaver wisdom. Was this amazing being that's very close to my heart. And I'm feeling like there's a growing connection for me with beavers, which is wonderful, and I'm learning so much from them. They are incredible. So, weekly wildlife wisdom. Pretty much every week, whenever I can, I share a different species, and I talk about their perspective on the world, the way they engage in the world, how they view the world. They obviously aren't human, so they don't have our human tendencies. They have their own ancestral lineage. Often, well, in most cases, the animals are far older than we are in our human experience here on Earth. And they have lots to offer us. I really believe we're all interconnected, and we all have a purpose for being here, but we're all connected to everybody else. Morning, Susie. Morning, Helen. Lovely to have you here. Welcome. And I believe inside of us is a little part of each other species that we connect to energetically, and it resonates with us. And we're not the same, we're all different. But I like to think of it as we're all drops in the big ocean. So we are all connected, and we're all made of the same stuff. So the idea, my inspiration for Weekly Wildlife Wisdom, is to just get you to take a step back from your very naturally human focused life, and to think about the other beautiful relatives that we share this amazing Mother Earth with, and how what they do and how they are and how they view things can help us to find and maintain greater balance in our life. So beavers are really, as I said, they're starting to come into my life in more physical ways. You may have seen over on my Instagram grid that on Wednesday evening I began a new series of live streams on Instagram, but not on my grid. I've become a volunteer for my local Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, so that I can do a monthly wildlife live at their Willington Wetlands Reserve, which is only 10 minutes from here. And it's where the beavers were released, reintroduced back into Derbyshire for the first time in 800 years. So every month I'll spend 15-20 minutes doing a live over on Instagram, and their grid name is @beavers and then _Derbyshire. So I'll put a link underneath in the description once I've finished this live. Susie saying hello. Hope you're both having a lovely morning. Yeah, I am. Thank you, Susie. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here today. There's definitely a feel of autumn. And that sort of, I always like this time of year. I like the softer sunlight and the turning of the seasons. So yeah, it's all good. And I hope you're well, Helen, as well. So let's dive into beaver wisdom. So yeah, just to finish that bit off, because I've just lost my train of thought. Yeah, so if you go onto Instagram, look at Beavers underscore Derbyshire, and if you follow that page and click the little bell icon, you'll get a notification each time that I'm going to do a live over there, so you can come on over and tune in, or watch the recording as well, because the recordings will be there too. So I'll just be basically sharing news, updates, information, all about Willington wetlands, for people that live locally, but also for people that live all over the world that love beavers. On the live on Wednesday, I had a lady tuning in from Berlin, and I'm sure from other places all over the world as well were tuning in. So it's really just an opportunity to celebrate nature, to celebrate the work that amazing people, volunteers and employees of these types of organisation like the Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, what they're doing on the front line to help, and then to look at how we can do that. And I feel that that's the core message from the Beavers as well, because they are, to me, they are such role models for the positive effect they have by living a purposeful life for themselves, but also that purposeful life ripples out to so many other species, including ours, of course. And I just wanted to talk a little bit from their viewpoint today and get you thinking about and acknowledging what you do in your life and how you can perhaps bring in other things into your life that will give you a greater sense of purpose, because that's so important to all of us. All life on earth, having a purpose is really, really essential to our well-being on all levels, and it also has that beautiful ripple out effect. And so the Beavers, if we look at who they are, and think about what we can learn as I'm sharing in family groups. They live in groups of up to 10. It can vary one way or the other. And typically after a couple of years of their kits being with them, they will tend to wander off to find their own territory so that they can raise their own family groups. So, but they are together for quite a long period, which is lovely. And that community sense and that family sense is very important to the Beavers, and they work very well collaboratively together. I mean, I believe that all animals, including humans, are able to communicate non-verbally in many ways, not just with body language, but also energetically and through thought form as well. And I really do see that with all animals that I encounter, and some humans that I encounter as well. And I think that that's really powerful, the heart-centered communication and connection with a sense of real connection. You know, you are a part of me and I am a part of you, even especially when we find people that live and behave very differently, and other species who live and behave very differently. And it sort of connects into Fly Wisdom last week, which was all about, you know, tolerance and understanding and being willing to listen and not to condone unacceptable behaviors. That's not what it's about, but that tolerance to be able to be willing to learn and to understand and to get increased perspectives on things that are important to us. So I think that's really important. They're freshwater eco engineers. So as they go about their daily lives, they're very productive. They are very focused on what they are doing and what they need to do. And they go about doing what they do, which increasingly, as time goes on in their established home, improves the whole ecosystem for themselves. But as I said earlier, hundreds and hundreds of species around them, flora and fauna. And it really is an amazing thing to learn about and to observe. So if you're interested in beavers, I definitely recommend searching online, reading up on them, learning more about how they live, because they are amazing beings. And they dig out canals of water, they create dams to slow the loss of water from wetland areas, but also it ensures that Flash floods are controlled, so it slows the flow of water, which is very, very helpful to everybody. And of course, water is life. So beavers, in their very essence, are protecting and managing and helping to create continuous, abundant water and life, which I think is so powerful. Now, they work together, they create an ideal, safe, and balanced life for themselves. So, when you think about your own life and you think about how well am I doing? Am I creating an ideal, balanced, and safe life for myself? That can be on so many levels in terms of what you're doing with your day, the choices that you make, the work that you do. If you're not working, what you choose to do for your daily tasks, because it's irrelevant whether you work for an employer or whether you're retired. It's about what you do with your days and how that makes you feel and how it keeps you in balance or takes you out of balance. And I think in our troubled human state and consciousness, that's really important at the moment, to be focused on that. Now, the beavers work diligently and they're very focused on the right things. And they're very intelligent as well. They don't run around. And this is one of the things that I think is really damaging human society. And that's this conditioned belief that we have to almost prove to ourselves and everybody else around us how busy we are. I'm more busy than you are. Oh, I don't have a chance to sit down ever. And I think that's not really a badge of honor, is it? That's more of a way of self-torturing yourself, and not giving yourself an opportunity to do what nature does, which is who we are. We are nature as well, lives in balance. So there are periods of activity, absolutely, ideally focused and purposeful activity that means something and contributes to something bigger than just ourselves. And also, equally important, times of rest and times of reflection, times of sleep, good quality sleep, and times of relaxation that's not associated with necessarily our focused purpose, so that we can live in balance and ebb and flow through our life, through the seasons, through the changes of the year, and honor that, rather than the crazy notion that we can be hyper caffeinated, on our feet 24/7, running around like lunatics, doing things that we don't need to be doing, and really sort of running ourselves down in terms of our resilience and our ability to sustainably and healthily live a best life that really is able, so that we're able to contribute in the best way and give the best of ourselves. Susie's saying beavers are fascinating. They are indeed. And yeah, we so need refreshing. And it is such a big lesson. And I think if you look back over the decades, you can see how this has sort of escalated in humanity. Faster, 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 bigger, 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 more, more, more. It's not infinite by any sense. We need to know our limits, and we need to, yes, of course, do our best and get better and improve and grow and learn, but in balance. And I think that's one of the key things that, for me, the beavers are brilliant at teaching. And they serve their environment, their ecosystem, with a clear and vital purpose. And the word vital from Latin means life. So back to the water, and back to their deep affinity with water. They're much more comfortable in the water than they are on the land. And they are really, really beautiful, strong swimmers. They're big animals. The beaver is the second largest rodent in the world, and they can weigh up to 30 kilos. So they are big animals, and they have a big impact. They have orange teeth, which grow like rodents' teeth do. And they're orange because they have so much iron in them to enable them to be able to coppice trees and to bite through countless amounts of vegetation that they eat, and that they use to build their dams and their lodges and to create food stores for their winter supplies. And they are incredible. So my question to you is to think about, what's your clear and vital purpose? Do you know? And it doesn't necessarily mean that your job, your employed job, has to be that, because I know that it's probably possible, but it's not always the case that we do a job that we're truly really passionate about. And I don't want you to feel like that's a failing on your part. All I'd like to encourage you to do is to think about, what might I be able to do that brings out my true passions in my life, that I can contribute and serve, that helps me to stay in balance and I really love doing. So have a ponder of that if you're not clear. And, if you are, really celebrate that and wonder how you can take the next steps to bring more of that into the world, so that you're giving more and contributing, because it makes us feel really good. Without question, doing something that we love, that serves others, really helps our mental health and on all levels. Yeah, Susie's saying humans don't seem to be good at acknowledging limits, and that is so true. I think it's sort of a part of the conditioning of the consumer capitalist models that we're surrounded by, but it's also part of our languaging as well. And one of my observations in life is that the words we use are very important. So I do my best not to contribute to that consciousness by talking about the standard phrases of, I'm so busy, or my inbox is so full, or I can't do anything for 6 weeks, and then on the other extreme, you have people saying that they're just trying to kill time. And I also think that's a very unusual way to talk about life. And I can't imagine that the Beavers would ever contemplate anything else other than in the moment, present, with a focus, with a purpose, serving, and yet also doing it in good time, in balance, with rest, with relaxation, with play. It's lovely to see the kids playing with their parents in the water, which I've been lucky enough to see recently. Didn't see them Wednesday night when we were doing the live, but we were a bit early that evening. So yeah, but hopefully with future lives over on Beavers Derbyshire on Instagram, we'll actually be able to get some glimpses of them swimming and hopefully playing in the water as well. So that's my thoughts on Beaver. That was what I was feeling into when we were there. And I love connecting with the Beavers, because they are just these, to me, when you watch them and you see footage of them, or you're lucky enough to see them, when they're out of water, they sort of almost waddle a bit like, an older person. And they use their front legs as sort of hands as well, very much sort of used for eating. And they're sort of quite, expressive with their front legs as well. And they do remind me of sort of ancient elders, a little bit like Yoda sort of type characters. So have a ponder for yourself as always. And next Friday, fingers crossed, I think it's September the 6th, next Friday. How did that happen? I'm not sure who, as always, but I will let you know in the week over on Instagram and Facebook, and here on YouTube, of course. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here live, you two lovelies. Hi, Helen, and thank you as well for being here. Susie's saying spontaneous play with no lessons or equipment. I love that. Yeah, fantastic. It's very good for us. So let's think about how we can live our lives more aligned with the ways of the Beaver, and notice what happens and how that makes us feel. So thank you all so much. Enjoy your week, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week, Friday, 10 o'clock UK time, here on YouTube. Bye for now. Bye.